Back on Morning Line, our guest with us this morning, Councilman Bob Mendez. We're talking about, I don't know, the discussions of what's going to happen. A very big ticket item is the stadium where the Titans play, and moving forward, discussions on upgrading, how much money will be spent. We were talking about when the Titans moved here 20 years ago. I was asking you what you were doing, and you were here, living here, and you said the first what that you voted on?
Yeah, the first election my wife and I voted on in Nashville was the referendum on the football stadium. I think in '95 is when that would have been.
I forget what the measure was or whatever it was called, but I still have at home one of the yellow buttons that said vote yes.
Right.
And I did not live in the city at the time, so I didn't get to vote, but I would have supported it. Do you think, just looking back over time, not talking about how good the Titans are and how fun it is to watch football if you're a football fan, do you think the city has gotten the bang for its buck? Has the NFL and the Titans delivered what we think we hoped when we agreed to them coming here? I'm talking financially, not, the fandom, but as a big picture, has it been more of an asset as opposed to not an asset to the city?
I think it is. I mean, it is hard to measure the dollars, but there clearly has been an evolution of Nashville in the generation that the Titans have been here, and being a quote big league city matters in who comes to town. Would the Predators be here if we weren't a football town? Would the reinvention of downtown have happened if the Titans hadn't come to town? I doubt it on both of them. But a lot of people, me included, wonder, like, okay, so it's definitely turbocharged the evolution of Nashville, but the water fountains still don't work in the schools, and some kids are going to schools in trailers all over the county, and so growth just for the sake of growth, sure, you get some football games out of the deal, but you'd like to see other movement forward just in evolving downtown.
Yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying, but it did. I like the word there. Supercharged things. The perception outside of Nashville is all of a sudden that, boy, if they have an NFL team, they must be a major city. I think it still remains. I think we're maybe the third or fourth smallest market in the country with an NFL team. There's Jacksonville, Green Bay, Buffalo. Maybe, I guess Kansas City's smaller than Nashville, and then us. But we're one of the smaller markets for sure. Yeah. And I'll tell you this, with the national media when it comes to the Titans, we get no respect. We just don't.
We don't.
We got the number one seed and we had nothing. Let's see what some of our viewers think. We'll go to Eric. Eric, good morning. Hi, Eric.
Nick, I tell you what, kind of surprised. This is the second straight day I've called your show. I usually don't call your show 2 days in a row.
It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, but just here's my thoughts about the whole stadium deal and everything like that. I kind of like a lot of people, what I'm hearing is I don't think we're going to probably spend as much money like at a SoFi or Jerry World. Probably maybe be more like Las Vegas and everything. But of course, a dome stadium with a retractable roof could bring in things like, said, the Super Bowl. Right. People are also talking about the Final Four, college basketball, college football playoff, even the championship game here. Other events like concerts, like the Gothberg concert, it happened pretty soon would be there, and things like WrestleMania, which is coming to Nissan in the summer, New Year's stuff and everything like that, which and all the surrounding entertainment, everything it would bring to that. You've also got things like now I'm here for Bush Fair, and he's saying that we do have enough hotel space to bring a Super Bowl here. Okay. So we'd have to see, but that's what he's saying, and I'm taking his word for it. But from what I understand, is when they're talking about the construction of a stadium, a lot of people think that we need a new stadium because they're saying concrete supposedly is falling apart, that we need supposedly, like, I guess, steel girders or whatever that is. That's sort of kind of the modern stadium, so we'll see if that happens. A lot of people wonder about other things too, like what down the road if the Predators need new building because they've got Bridgestone Arena. We've been talking about possibility of bringing Major League Baseball here. You've also got the soccer team that's going to be starting later this year in their new stadium in May. We of course had the Grand Prix, which was here this past summer. All the sports, all the dollars. I mean, I understand people's things, but certainly just with all that dollars and everything, tourism, everything would help the economy big time. So I think it's something like I said, it's just you don't see the Titans leading, but but that would be a huge major impact if they did leave the city. So
that'd be awesome. Awful.
It just would see what would happen. But I understand people's concerns about things like trash pickup and crime and all the other issues. I definitely get that and understand it. And I guess I'm a little bit biased because I'm kind of a sports fan, but let you guys discuss that. Y'all have a great day, and it's
great.
pleasure to have you on here, Congressman. Take care, Councilman.
Councilman, hey, thank you, Eric, very much. Eric's wired. He's a sports fan, but he's a rational, down-to-earth. Yeah, he did mention the soccer stadium.
Yeah.
Why was it again that the soccer team couldn't play in Nissan? Is it just? I mean, in Nissan Stadium. Why couldn't they play there? Is it just the lease and maybe they overlapped? I don't know. I mean, soccer's now, football's over.
So I'm a big sports person, and especially football, baseball, basketball, hockey. For whatever reasons, I've never became a soccer fan, and I know that's like
that's all right.
There's a ton of soccer fans, but the soccer people will tell you that it's a different shape, feel, and the experience is totally different for the team and for the fan in a soccer specific stadium. And I'll be honest, if from my perspective as not a soccer fan, my reaction generally to that is boo-hoo, whatever. But soccer people like really aggressively feel like it's a totally different experience.
Yeah.
The main thing that I would take away from his comment is that there's an immense cool factor to having a new stadium, and for all the reasons he said, I mean, we could potentially become a top 5 sporting destination for every major event that involves big stadiums.
The key there is if we put a dome on it.
Right.
It has to be something that can be enclosed.
And that has enormous cost.
Yes.
And the question we'll have to ask a city whenever somebody actually shares actual details with us is, what's the price tag difference between fixing current, rehabbing it in a serious way, versus new stadium? There's got to be some cost difference to the city on it. There must be. And I'm told that like one way to look at it is like, how much extra tax revenue does a neighborhood get from having a stadium in the middle of it? And there are experts. I understand Metro has a consultant. Never talked to him, don't know who it is. But there's consultants that can tell you how much extra tax revenue you can expect in a neighborhood. The bars downtown do better revenue because there's a hockey stadium.
Right.
But is it 50% more? No. Is it 2% more?
They do great on game nights. I see it differently with hockey.
Right.
Well, in other venues
games.
where the football stadiums are sometimes, frankly, the stadiums, because they need so much space, they're out in a place, and it's almost like it sucks the life out of everything around it. And there aren't a lot of really good things near the stadium, to be honest with you. I'm not convinced the football stadium does that.
That has happened with our current stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a dead zone of development under the current stadium. And I think the dream that the team and the mayor's office have is to not have a dead zone around the stadium, to have a neighborhood around the stadium.
Logistics of it, by the way, let's just say they say we're going to build a new stadium. Okay, they haven't said that yet, but if they did, I guess they would you imagine the new one would be built at that location maybe? Because you'd have to do it where you start the new one, you tear down the old one, and so the new one's going to be next door, that one's going to be torn down. Because I don't think you can say we're going to have a new one and let's tear down this stadium and then build it right there, because if you do that, where will the team play? Because it's going to take over a year to build. So they would have to have a location to start construction of the new one. Likely, it could be in the parking lot right next door, and then they tear this one down and create that for.
That's nothing's concrete, but that's what I've heard.
That's what they'd have to do, is do it right next door.
Yeah,
I've seen that done before.
While construction is going on, you play in the existing stadium.
Okay, and then it comes down when the new one's done next door.
And then you have to figure out something about parking during that time
in the
period.
meantime, shuttles or whatever. Let's go to Ann. Ann, good morning. Hi, Ann.
Good morning. I've got nothing against sports, never have, and I don't think that the businesses around the stadium would exactly say it was a dead zone on game day. And I don't think that the revenue would show that it was a dead zone after game night. But the issues facing our city are much more pressing than football, soccer, basketball, or any sports. So I think that time would be better spent on finding answers to our homeless problem and other issues, and especially when you read Twitter feeds from our Metro Council members, and you follow what is going on with our council members when council is not in session, and you really pay attention to what is going on within our city. And once we get those problems under control, then maybe we need to decide if we need to invest in our sports.
Hang tight on that, Ann. They're telling me we have to go to a break, but I promise you we'll answer your question when we come back. And anytime there's any talk of building something with sports, there are always calls and opinions like Ann's. There's other things. There's other things. And the big question is, can you do both? So, Ann, I apologize we had to cut you off there because we'll go to a break. When we come back, I promise we'll have the councilman respond to your comment. We'll be right back after this.